Dark Shadows, number 91, VTR 102066, air 103166, take one.
My name is Victoria Winters. Up until last night, I had thought of this great house of Collinwood as a home. Then one night it became a prison. Yet that one night of imprisonment might have given me a clue to my identity, the real reason why I was at Collinwood.
B. Hanscom. What is it about the name B. Hanscom on this old ledger that's so important to me?
It's just a list of names with amounts of money opposite each one.
Have you ever heard of any of these names, B. Hanscom or any of the others?
Nope.
But you do know the law firm Garner and Garner.
They handle all of Mother's legal and business affairs.
Betty Hanscom, that's it.
What's it?
It's the name of the girl in the portrait at Sam Evans' house. She looked so much like me. Even Maggie said so.
Do you think there might be some connection?
There might be. This could be what I've been searching for. It might even tell me who I am.
Vicky, I don't understand. How can that name on an old ledger sheet tell you who you are?
I don't know. But it's the only lead I've ever had.
You saw a portrait that Sam Evans painted of a girl, and the girl looked like you. And you think the name of the model was Betty Hanscom. You know, that doesn't add up to very much.
Maybe you're right. But there's one way to verify part of it.
How?
Call Sam Evans.
What can he tell you?
He can... Hello, Mr. Evans? This is Vicky Winters. Fine, thank you. I was wondering, do you remember the portrait of the girl that looked so much like me? Yes. Well, would you happen to know her name? Uh-huh. And do you know if that was a nickname or... Good. No, that's all I wanted to know. Thank you very much. Goodbye. I was right. Her name is Betty Hanscom.
And you think that's the same name that's on the ledger sheet?
Well, it has to be. How many B. Hanscoms can there be in Collinsport?
What does that prove?
Well, don't you see? She and I looked so much alike, so there must be some sort of a connection.
Vicky, you mean you think she might be your mother? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I don't know. All I do know is that there's a possibility that I have or have had some family here in Collinsport.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yes, it would.
Why don't you ask my mother?
No. Whenever I ask her anything about my past, she becomes evasive.
Why?
I don't know. But promise me that you won't say anything about this Betty Hanscom or anything.
I promise. But I still think you ought to ask Mother.
Ask me what?
I wanted to ask you if I could have a couple of days off.
Does that mean you've decided to stay on as David's tutor?
Yes, Mother. Isn't that great?
Oh, I can't tell you how pleased I am.
So am I. He apologized to me, and he said he hadn't meant anything by it, and he even asked me to stay. But I would like a few days off to try and forget about what happened.
I don't blame you.
And I've got some shopping that I'd like to do, too.
Where will you go?
I thought I'd go to Bangor. It's the nearest place.
We have friends there. I'm sure they'd be delighted to have you stay with them.
Oh, no, thank you very much. But I'd rather stay in a hotel. I'd like to be by myself.
When would you go?
If it's all right with you, I'd like to take the bus this afternoon.
I'd be happy to drive you into town when you're ready to go.
Thank you. Well, I'd better hurry.
Isn't it wonderful that David persuaded her not to leave?
Yes, it is. It's also a little odd.
Vicky, let me give you a hand.
Carolyn, would you order me some coffee? I want to go in the lobby and check the bus schedules.
Sure.
Thanks.
Susie, could we have a couple of cups of coffee? Hello. Will you ring Mr. Devlin's room, please? Hello. Well, who did you expect to call? I'm downstairs in the hotel coffee shop. Will you? No, don't worry about that. I'll be glad to wait. Bye. Susie, would you bring the coffee over to the table, please? Thanks. How'd you make out?
Well, the next bus doesn't leave for an hour.
Vicky, you mustn't be too disappointed if nothing happens. It's a pretty slim lead.
It may be slim, but it's the only lead I've ever had.
Wouldn't it be great if you found out you were from a very wealthy Bangor family?
Oh, stop it. I went through all that in a foundling home. We used to dream about that the way other people dream about a fairy godmother.
That's exactly what it would be like. One wave of the magic wand and presto changeo, you're rich and happy. Vicky, what are you going to do when you get to Bangor? It'll be night by then.
Well, I'm going to check into the hotel, and first thing in the morning, I'm going to call Garner and Gardner for an appointment. Do you know them?
I've only met Mr. Garner once, Mr. Richard Garner. He's a very nice old man. I'm sure if he can help you, he'll be glad to.
We'll see what happens.
Will you call and let me know, either way?
Yes, I will. I'll call if I can.
Well, isn't this a pleasant surprise?
What do you mean?
Finding two lovely young ladies in the coffee shop.
It's quite a coincidence, isn't it?
Quite. May I sit down?
Please do.
What are you two girls doing in town?
Well, Vicky's on her way to Bangor to check out a slim clue about herself. She has no real evidence.
So, why are you going?
Because there's a faint chance.
As long as there is the faintest chance. You'll keep trying.
Yes.
Did you know that Vicky saw Bill Malloy's ghost?
You saw what?
Well, I don't know what I saw, but I did see something.
You say you're going to Bangor today. How?
By bus.
Nonsense. I'm going there myself. Why don't you drive along with me?
Oh, no.
The bus will be along in a few minutes.
I insist. Where's your luggage?
No, really,
No, I'm going there on business anyway.
But Berg,
Now, you must know that business always comes before pleasure.
I know, but I thought we might...
Business first, then pleasure. So, Miss Winters, where's your luggage so I can put it in my car?
It's in Carolyn's car.
I see. I'll have someone transfer it, if you've no objection.
How can I?
Good.
Well, Vicky, I certainly never thought you'd do a thing like that to me.
Like what?
Well, you must have known that I expected to see Burke this evening.
I didn't know you had a date
I
with him.
didn't have. I just hoped... Now you've spoiled the whole thing. Never mind. Go on to Bangor with him.
Carolyn,
Stop
please.
it! I don't want your sympathy. Just do whatever you want to do.
So you think you might learn something about yourself in Bangor, hmm?
I hope so.
Are you counting on it?
Not too much.
Good, that's being sensible. Be kind of silly to get your hopes up over such a flimsy thing.
How do you know it's flimsy?
I don't. I'm only going by what you say.
I didn't say anything.
Okay. So I'm wrong.
I'm sorry, Burke. You're very kind to drive me all this distance, and I do appreciate it. It's just that...
You don't trust me.
Oh, no, it's not that.
Well, at least that's encouraging. Oh, boy. I think we're in for a bad storm. So, what's all this about Bill Malloy's ghost?
I'd rather not talk about it.
Why not?
Well, some things are difficult to explain, but it doesn't mean that you can't explain them. I know I saw Bill Malloy.
Carolyn? Carolyn? What's the matter?
It's a terrible night out. It looks like it's going to rain any minute.
I don't think you're worried about whether it's going to rain or not.
No. No, I'm not.
Would you like to tell me what it is?
It's really nothing.
Carolyn, you never act this way unless something's bothering you.
All right. I think I made a mistake about Vicky Winters, that's all.
What sort of a mistake?
I'm not at all sure she ought to stay on here at Collinwood.
Carolyn.
I don't care, Mother. I know I said I was deliriously happy at her staying. But I could have made a mistake, couldn't I?
In what way?
I thought she was part of us, you know, like almost one of the family.
Well, I still think so.
Well, I don't.
Isn't this rather a sudden reversal on your part?
I guess it is. But when you find out something more about a person, you have a right to change your mind.
Do you mean that you learned something about Vicky that made you change your mind?
Yes.
Well, if it's something that concerns the family, Carolyn, I think you ought to tell me.
Do I have to give a reason for the way I feel?
Yes, I think you should. Have you a valid reason for your sudden about-face in deciding you don't want Vicky to stay at Collinwood?
I just told you I have.
As valid a reason as David had for deciding exactly the opposite?
To me, it is.
I tried to question David, and he was evasive. Are you going to be the same way? Darling, what in the world happened to upset you so? When you left here to drive Vicky into town, you were as happy as a lord.
I know. I was.
Well, then something must have happened.
I'd really rather just forget about it.
Well, can you?
No. No, I can't.
Then I think you better tell me what it is.
All right, I'll tell you. It's about Miss Victoria Winters.
Vicky? I don't understand.
Of course you don't. I don't either. All I know is that this girl you trusted so much that you practically begged to stay here at Collinwood and
What
not...
about her?
Right now, she's with Burke Devlin.
Vicky is with Burke?
That's what I said.
Oh, I thought she went to Bangor for a few days.
So did he. And he's driving her there. And right this minute, she's probably sitting in his car telling him everything she knows about the Collins family.
Vicky, I wish you'd tell me something.
If I can.
No, not if you can. If you will.
What is it?
A long time ago, I asked you where you stood in this mess. You told me you stood on your own 2 feet.
I still do.
No false feeling of gratitude to the Collins family for rescuing you from that foundling home in New York?
Some, but it's not false.
Fair enough. What did Carolyn mean when she said you'd seen Bill Malloy's ghost?
It all seems so silly now.
Where did it happen?
David locked me in a room in a closed-off section of the house.
He did what?
He was trying to scare me. It's not important except that I was scared.
I know that house. I can imagine you were. What about the ghost?
Do you believe in ghosts?
No.
Neither do I. That's why I was so scared. Because I saw one. I swear I did.
It looked like Bill Malloy.
It was Bill Malloy.
He's dead, Vicky.
I know. Burke, have you ever heard a song called What'll We Do with a Drunken Sailor?
It's one of Bill's favorite songs.
Well, this apparition, or whatever you want to call it, started out by singing that song.
Then what?
Then he warned me to leave Collinwood before I was killed the way he was.
Bill Malloy told you he was killed?
I don't know. Maybe I dreamt the whole thing. I was asleep for a little while.
Well, naturally, I don't believe in things like that.
Neither do I.
But I believe you saw something. And I think whatever you saw was trying to tell you the truth. Someone was trying to tell you that Bill Malloy was murdered by someone in Collinwood.
Oh, it didn't say Collinwood. It said Collinsport. Now, that includes quite a few many more people.
Even me?
I didn't mean that.
But he could. Vicky, why don't you get out of there? Get out of there and run away as far and as fast as you can.
I don't want to.
No, of course you don't. You want to keep sticking your nose into other people's affairs until you can't pull it out. You want to bury yourself, just like Roger, just like Sam Evans. Sometimes I think it would be simpler to end the whole thing by taking the two of them and banging their heads together.
You don't mean that.
I never meant anything more in my life.
You couldn't.
Couldn't I? Might even give me more pleasure than trying to ruin the Collins family. No matter how I do it, Vicky, you better pull your pretty little neck in before it gets snapped off along with the rest of them.
We'll be in Bangor in a few minutes. Would you drop me off at the hotel?
Sure. It'll be the safest landing you're going to have in a long time.
Watch for dramatic new developments on Peyton Place, followed by the big adventure of the Big Valley in color tonight on ABC. Dark Shadows is a Dan Curtis production.